That last matchup was very concerning. I didn't like the way my team played. I felt like I got totally destroyed. It was one of the worst losses I've ever suffered in an online game. But I'm going to try and get back and get my team to play some more defense. And I've got a lesser opponent this time. His lineup just is not nearly as stacked as the last guy had. I don't even know if he's got a goal player. But Horace Grant, you don't see that guy every time. Oh, he's got Bosch and Al Jefferson. And the thing about Chris Bosch you got to realize is his mid-range jumper is something like a 90. So watch out for that. If you ever go up against Chris Bosch, he can make it rain from inside the three-point line. One of the things that I noticed when I was working my backup game plan was when I have Magic in the game, it's impossible to put him in as a power forward, and that's the position I like to put him at. Remember, I don't have that post player that I'm looking for, so I'm going to go to Magic. And with Magic, because he's a point guard, when you try to bring up the menu in-game by hitting down on the D-pad buttons, he isn't available. You can only put him at the 1, 2, or 3, not the 4 or the 5. So after this game, I figured out how I can get a workaround of that. And it's important. When you start the game and the teams are scrolling across the screen, you have to go into the lineups. And I'm sure some of you may have known about this, but I just learned about it. If you go to the backups by hitting the right trigger button one time, not the trigger but the actual button on the right finger side of the stick, what that does is it brings up your bench lineup, and you can actually alter the lineup completely that way. And I haven't figured out how to do it in game, but that's how you can do it pre-game. And what that allows you to do is you can put players at any position. And this is especially important if you've got guys who have a lower overall rating that you want to play off the bench ahead of guys who have a higher overall rating. For example, Magic, I believe, is like a 98 or 99 overall rating. I don't want him to start at point guard. I want Penny Hardaway to be my backup starter. So by doing that, what that allows me to do is keep Magic at the power forward position and Penny as my backup point guard, which is pretty cool because LeBron just gets rejected on that dunk, but for some reason it's getting called a goaltend. So Horace Grant's coming up, good position. He puts his hand through the basketball rim. Nice one. And I'm not sure why. That to me looked like it theoretically could have been a clean block, but I'll get the 2 points for that and I'll take it. I think the bigger issue was it might have been a foul. But with getting a good bench together and having accessibility via the D-pad to change it in game, you cut down a lot of time. It's really important to use those hotkey buttons to get your subs in the game. And I've experimented. I only have my bench and my starters as a lineup that is one that I'll set in the pre-start menu. You can also set other options like defense. You can also set a free throw shooting lineup, and the ability to access those quickly in the game by just hitting 2 buttons rather than calling it timeout and going to the timeout menu, or hitting start and then making substitutions that way, is important, especially if your opponent calls a timeout and you get in one of those situations where you don't go to the substitution menu, which happens a lot. I don't know what the setting is behind that, but if you find yourself in that situation, now you can't make the subs that you want. And it's really important to be able to call up the guys you want rapidly in situations where it makes the most sense. So I'm thinking about putting the Chief Moncrief back on my team. And how cool would it be to just hit one button and all of a sudden now I've got Michael Cooper out there, the Chief Moncrief, and some other defensive role players in a key situation where I need it late in the game. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm doing a pretty good job of just destroying my opponent here, and it is quite a mismatch. I mean, I'm starting to get better knowing the players on my team. And I got to say that this guy is misutilizing the guys on his team. I don't think that Chris Bosch should be out there on the perimeter shooting 3-point shots. He can do better than that. Kendall Gill, maybe not the best point guard in the game. And hopefully the guy gets some better players and can rise through the seeds. But for some reason, this is a 6th seed matchup. I double-checked, and the guy played another game on the 6th seed. And there's Sean Kemp with another posterization. I think I should make a highlight reel of just all of Kemp's posterization dunks. So, it might get old after like 10 or 12 of them, but every once in a while you get one that's new. Now, that wasn't that new. I know you've seen it before, but when he combines it with some of his post moves, it looks pretty cool. But I gotta say, every time I use him in this game, I'm always surprised. I mean, last year you knew what you were gonna get. You're gonna get a guy that could throw down the alley-oop on the fast break, and he had an okay post fadeaway, but pretty good athleticism and rebounding. But this year it's completely different. I mean, there he gets another board. He gets more offensive boards than he did last year, and he gets more scoring ability. His contact layups are good. I put that post proficiency on him. And at this point, I'm going to get a quit out of my opponent. I don't really blame him. I mean, I was running away with the game. So hopefully he can get back, improve his lineup a little bit, and start playing better. Hopefully his style of play changes a little bit. And I am now 2-2. I was hoping to get a little bit longer gameplay there. I really want to work on my defense, especially after that last blowout loss. So next time I face one of those overpowered teams that is destroying me, I'll be better prepared.